it's a wonderful story. It's sort of a Cinderella story with a twist, but I think she's so lovely in it, and it's such a beautifully made film that, I mean, I can't think of anything better to say than that it's her and the story, and everybody loves it.
Did Audrey Hepburn really steal Julie Andrews' role in My Fair Lady? For decades, rumors of rivalry between these two Hollywood icons have swirled, fueled by casting controversies, awards buzz, and harsh studio decisions. But behind the gossip was a much more emotional truth. Julie Andrews, once silent on the matter, has opened up in rare interviews, sometimes moved to tears. Today we're taking a closer look into the real story behind those My Fair Lady rumors and how they shaped Andrews' early career, and why her relationship with Audrey was more complex and more touching than most ever knew. The role that sparked the rumors. Julie Andrews had already become synonymous with the role of Eliza Doolittle in My Fair Lady by the time Hollywood came calling. She originated the part on Broadway in 1956, earning rave reviews and helping make the show a major success. Many expected her to reprise the role in the 1964 film adaptation, especially as her performance had become iconic on stage. But when Warner Brothers bought the film rights, studio head Jack L. Warner had different plans. He didn't believe Andrews was a big enough box office draw. Despite her stage success, she had yet to make a film. Instead, Warner cast Audrey Hepburn, a seasoned movie star, to lead the adaptation. It was a decision that stunned critics and audiences alike and sparked decades of speculation about tension between the two women. At the time, Andrews was gracious in public, though privately the decision stung. She had poured years into the role, only to be passed over for someone who didn't originate the part. The idea that Hepburn stole the role was never something Andrews said herself, but it quickly became a popular headline and gossip point. The film version of My Fair Lady went on to be a massive hit, and Hepburn delivered a graceful performance. Still, many viewers were disappointed to learn that her singing voice had been dubbed over by Marni Nixon. That detail only fueled resentment among some fans who felt Andrews had been unfairly overlooked in favor of star power. In an ironic twist, while My Fair Lady earned multiple Academy Awards, Hepburn wasn't even nominated. Instead, Julie Andrews took home the Oscar that year for Mary Poppins, her first ever film role. Julie Andrews' silence and emotional reveal. For years, Julie Andrews avoided speaking publicly about My Fair Lady or her feelings about the casting decision. She maintained a dignified silence, never criticizing Hepburn and always steering the conversation toward her own projects. Many admired her grace, but the silence only added to the mystery. Were the rumors true? Did she ever resent Hepburn? In more recent interviews, Andrews has finally addressed what happened, and her words have surprised many. In one emotional moment, she broke down in tears when asked about Hepburn and the long-standing gossip. She said she never blamed Audrey for taking the role, acknowledging that Hepburn had no control over the studio's decision. Andrews admitted that being passed over did hurt, especially after putting so much into the role on stage, but she said she never saw Hepburn as a rival. Instead, she admired her elegance and understood the studio had made a commercial choice, not a personal one. In the years that followed, the two women never had a public falling out. In fact, Andrews recalled a brief but warm encounter with Hepburn at an award show where both women embraced and exchanged kind words. That moment, Andrews said, meant a great deal to her and helped her move on from the pain tied to My Fair Lady. When Andrews eventually shared how she felt about the rumors, her voice cracked. She explained how difficult it was to carry the weight of false rivalry for so many years. The emotion came from the misunderstanding, not from any lingering bitterness. These revelations have helped rewrite the story for many fans. What had long been framed as a battle between actresses was, in truth, the result of a studio decision and years of silence. Andrews' tears weren't about jealousy, they were about healing a wound left open too long, and honoring a woman she respected despite the circumstances that once placed them on opposite sides of a casting controversy. Audrey Hepburn's side of the story. Audrey Hepburn never publicly criticized Julie Andrews. In fact, she often avoided discussing the casting decision altogether. But those close to Hepburn have said she felt caught in a difficult position. She had accepted the role of Eliza Doolittle not out of ambition, but because she was asked, and she trusted the studio's decision. According to multiple reports, Hepburn was aware of the controversy that followed her casting and was deeply hurt by some of the backlash. She knew Andrews had made the role famous and understood that fans were disappointed. In private, Hepburn reportedly expressed regret that her involvement had caused any harm to Andrews. She didn't want to be seen as someone who had taken anything away from another actress. There was also the matter of her voice being dubbed. Hepburn trained extensively with a vocal coach to prepare for the role, believing she could sing the part herself. But after filming began, the studio decided her singing voice didn't fit the musical standards they wanted. They replaced her vocals with those of Marni Nixon without telling her right away. The decision left Hepburn embarrassed and frustrated. While her performance as Eliza was visually elegant, she knew the dubbed voice raised doubts about her fit for the role. Some even used that as ammunition to further argue that Andrews should have been cast instead. Friends of Hepburn later shared she never saw herself as a rival to Andrews. She admired her talent and was especially pleased when Andrews won the Oscar for Mary Poppins. Hepburn didn't view it as a competition. For her, the recognition Andrews received was well-deserved. Despite being linked in one of the most talked-about casting controversies in Hollywood history, Hepburn remained respectful. Her actions never fed the feud narrative. She kept her thoughts private and avoided saying anything that would create more drama. Award season and public reaction. The 1965 Academy Awards became a pivotal moment in this story. My Fair Lady earned 8 Oscars, including Best Picture and Best Actor for Rex Harrison. But Audrey Hepburn wasn't nominated. Many saw this as the Academy quietly acknowledging that the film's casting decision hadn't been universally popular. Julie Andrews, in her first film role, won Best Actress for Mary Poppins. The moment stunned the industry. Some critics said she won as a symbolic gesture, as a way to correct what many viewed as wrong. But Andrews' performance didn't need any justification. She had charmed audiences and critics alike, and her win was based on genuine merit. Still, the press couldn't resist tying the two women together. Headlines highlighted Andrews' Oscar victory against the backdrop of the My Fair Lady casting drama. Instead of celebrating each actress in her own right, the media framed the night as a win for Julie and a loss for Audrey. The public took sides. Fans of Andrews saw her win as vindication. Others sympathized with Hepburn, who had carried the weight of criticism for something she didn't control. For many, the narrative became about justice rather than art. In interviews after the Oscars, Andrews stayed poised. She didn't gloat or express bitterness. She thanked Walt Disney and those who believed in her when others didn't. Her focus stayed on gratitude, not revenge. Two icons, two different paths.
Such a testament to you as an actor about the staying power and the incredible films, the legacy you have
Well, I think it's a
left behind.
testament to how lucky I've been. I've sort of bookended my whole life, it seems, because now kids come up and instead of saying I loved you in The Sound of Music, they say I loved you in The Princess Diaries.
And Princess Diaries, too.
Yes, that's
which, of
coming
course,
out
we've heard of.
on August the 11th.
After the Oscar headlines faded, both Julie Andrews and Audrey Hepburn continued to build lasting careers, though in very different ways. Andrews leaned into her musical roots, starring in The Sound of Music just a year after Mary Poppins. That role cemented her status as a beloved screen icon and showcased the full range of her talent, from singing to acting with emotional depth. Hepburn, already a household name, began to slow her career in film. She shifted away from musicals and focused on dramatic and romantic roles like Two for the Road and Wait Until Dark. Her filmography grew more selective as she prioritized her family and later her work with UNICEF. Setting the record straight.
If you love what you do and you really, really want to do it, then embrace it with all your heart. Because some great good fortune is going to pass under your nose when you least expect it.
As both women aged, their legacy became less about what happened in the 60s and more about how they carried themselves in the years that followed. In one revealing conversation, Julie Andrews explained she had been under contract with Disney while My Fair Lady was being filmed. Had Warner Brothers wanted her, they would have had to buy that contract out. Instead, they chose Hepburn early on, and Andrews simply moved forward with Mary Poppins. She said there was never a real opportunity to play Eliza in the film version, no matter how much the press assumed otherwise. Andrews' candor gave fans closure, and it gave both women the dignity they deserved. Now it's time to hear from you. What's your favorite role of these great actresses? Let us know in the comments section below.